We know that response.output contains an array. So we have seen in earlier examples or in earlier hands-on that it contains multiple elements. So we'll have to iterate over it first. And I'm using this for item in response dot, okay, this should be response. So item in response dot output. Now we'll have to first make sure that it is a function call. Now how do we find that out? If the item dot type column is equal to function call, then we would know that it is a function call. So if you see, if I remove this and print this again, right? So let's print the output again. Let me show you the output one more time. So this is the prompt. Provide me ACCT details of 32578. Let's see whether it makes a call or not, and it is making a call. So this is an array you see, and this is an item which is response function tool call. This is an object of type response function tool call. Now inside of which we have arguments, which is customer ID, and then we have the call ID, and then the name, and then the type. So as I'm iterating over this array or this list, each element of the object can be retrieved using the dot notation. So if I have to get the arguments, it would be item dot arguments, because I'm iterating over the response dot output using the item variable. You see here, this is the item variable, and it will iterate over. So item dot arguments would be this entire output. Then item dot call ID would be the call ID. Item dot name would be fetch all accounts for customer, and item dot type would be this function. So this is the first conditional check. If item dot type is function call, inside of which I'll have to make sure that we call the necessary functions as per the name of the functions. Now here I'll type if item dot name is equal to the name of the function, which is fetch all customer for account. This is the first function. Then there is another function that you would know that we have defined, which is the fetch SQL customer info. So this is the second function call. Now in both the cases, what we'll do, we'll have to call these individual functions. I'll come back to that shortly. So now for this function, we'll have to pass the customer ID, and which was there in item dot arguments. Actually for both of them it would be customer ID, and I am loading it using JSON because it was a string. Then I'll have to call this function using customer ID. So if it is a function call of this, then I am calling the function with the same name, but I'm passing this argument. Similarly, I'll have to make a call here to this function with customer ID. And let's use this in the data variable, or maybe output data. Let's put the output here also in output data. All right, so now both are done. And now if you remember step 3, after we retrieve the output from the function, we'll have to make a response API call using the function's output data. So we'll have to call another function. This is the name, and we'll have to pass multiple variables here, and I'll be using the same function here also. And I'll have to pass multiple parameters here. I'll tell you what those parameters are, but before that, let's define the function. So the parameter definition would be easy. Now here I should make a response API call. Now in the input parameter, I should pass the output data of the function. So these are very common. We are using the model GPT 5.4. The conversation ID would be the conv ID. So I'll have to pass the conversation ID here. I'll have to pass the instruction also here. And then I'll have to use the input variable or input parameter. But the value of the input parameter would be different, which I had shown you in the template. So this is how it would be. The type would be hard-coded, function underscore call underscore output, and the call ID would be the call ID, and then output data would be the output data. So I'll have to pass these two arguments also here, right? And all these would be passed from here. Now we do not have the call ID yet, but we can get the call ID, which you have seen that it is in item dot call underscore ID. Now what is this call ID? This call ID is nothing but the function call or the ID of the function call. So that's why I'm passing it here in the responses API. I'm telling the GPT 5.4 model that this is the call ID of the function so that the model can refer to the function call and then get the output data. Now here in this get user prompt, I have already passed the conversation ID, the tools variable and the instruction parameter. So I'm using the same arguments or same variables, the conv ID, the instruction, and we do not need the tools here. So this portion is done. So you'll have to make sure that the function calls are fine. Now the final part would be to perform something if the call is not a function call, meaning that the item.type is not equal to function underscore call. In that case, the model should respond using its own vocabulary, token, whatever you might want to call it. So I'm defining another function, send response using LLM. So let's use this function here itself, and I'll pass the prompt also, the conversation ID, the instruction, and the prompt. And we are getting the prompt from here itself, right? So if nothing is found, if there is no function call, then it would call this function, which is send response using LLM. There should be another response API call, which would be very simple. I'll just use the model, which is GPT 5.4, maybe GPT 5.4 mini, the conversation ID, the instructions parameter, the input prompt. And of course, we'll have to print the output in the console. So that's why let's use response.output underscore text, which will be used in both the cases. So now we are done with the entire coding. We have completed the code. Let me just repeat what I have done in this step 3. First, I'm using this loop while true, and then I'm making a call to this function, which is get user prompt. And here I'm passing the conversation ID, the tools parameter, or the tools variable rather, and the instructions parameter. And all these three have been defined in the main function. So this is the conversation ID, this is the instruction, and this is the tools variable, wherein I have defined only two functions. No other functions have been defined. And that's why you have seen that no call is being made to any of the other functions that I have defined. I have also changed the instruction a little bit. This is the function which is get user prompt, and I'm passing the conversation ID, the tools variable, and the instruction as arguments. Then I'm getting the prompt from user, and I'm making a call using the responses API to GPT 5.4 mini. Now here the common parameters are instructions, tools, conversation, and input. The only thing which is different is tools here, because I'm asking the GPT 5.4 mini model to use the function call if from the input prompt it finds out that yes, there's a chance of making a function call, it will make a function call. And we are checking that if indeed there is a function call, and if the name of the function call is this, then I'm calling the function. If the name of the function call is something else, I'm calling the other function. Now while calling these functions, I'm passing the argument and I'm getting the output in this variable, which is output underscore data. After it gets response from the function call, I'm making a call to another function which will integrate the output data of the function call with the LLM. And here I'm using a different model, GPT 5.4. I am using this input type, which is function call output. This is the call ID, which I'm getting from item.callID, and output is the output data. So let's try this out. Hopefully it is fine. And I'll try in this console itself. And let's get a customer information. Let's say this is the customer. So who is this customer 31321? Okay, it says can't adapt type dictionary. So there is a problem in the PostgreSQL function. It says can't adapt type dictionary. Might be that the problem here is this, the customer ID. So let's print customer ID here. There's some problem that I have done, which is okay. And this is the problem. So it is passing the entire argument, right? So I'll have to change it. So this is how you troubleshoot also. Okay, there is some problem in the input type for output. So let me fix this. It is a syntactical error or some logic error, and I'll tell you what problem is this. But the previous one has been fixed. So this is how we should pass the customer ID. And now let me fix the output part, because the output might be an array. That's why the problem is. Alright, the problem was that it was sending a dictionary variable rather than that it should be a JSON variable, because the input expects a JSON variable in the responses API. So what I have done, I have used this json.dumps to change it to a JSON output. So let's try it out. This is a different prompt, who is customer 33653, and let's see whether we get any output or not. So it says customer 33653 is Eldon Conway. This is the customer ID, this is the date of birth, and this is the email. Why we are getting only these output? Because these are the only columns that I'm retrieving using the function. But you see the output is not like a function output. It is a pretty neat output with multiple bullet points, etc. Let's try another one. I need to know who is 30301. Let's see whether it works or not. Okay, looks like it is also working. It is making a call to the fetch SQL customer info and giving us the output. Now let's try the other one, which should make a call to the other function, right? So that would be, what are the accounts of 30301? It is giving us a pretty neat input. These are the account IDs and these are the balances, and this is when the account was opened. Let's try it out. Let's try a new one. Let's say for customer 100, the customer is not there, so it should give us error that no account find. Okay, it says I can help, but 100 is ambiguous. Please provide me the customer ID you want the account details for. I'll list every account found. So looks like this is working, but I'll have to change the prompt for customer 100. So it says no accounts were found for customer 100, which is fine. Let's use another customer ID. What are the different accounts held by customer 31945? This is a different prompt. Let's see whether we get the output or not. So looks like it is working. These are the 4 accounts which are there. The balance is pretty high. The reason is because while creating the sample dataset, I provided some pretty ridiculous high number. That's okay. By the way, this is working. The GenAI model is working. And before I stop, let me change this a little bit more. Because see, there are multiple accounts, or the account should be a list of array, right? So let me provide that in the description also. This is what I have put in the description. Output contains a Python list of all accounts for a customer. So this would also be helpful because we do not want to do the processing. Let me tell you why have I done it. Okay, so this is the function, and here you see all underscore accounts is an array or is a list. So make sure to provide that, otherwise we'll have to do it programmatically. If we do not do it programmatically, the model will do it automatically. So that's why I have put the description, or I have made the description a little bit more clear. So far we have tested only the function calls. Let's try the other part also, wherein if I provide a prompt, the LLM does not make any function call. In that case, what would happen? First, I'm using this prompt, show me account details for customer 33005. It should show me all the accounts that the customer has, and it will call the function to show me all the accounts. Looks like this customer has a lot of accounts. Let's use a different prompt. So let's ask what is the total account balance of this customer. So it has actually added the total account balance for customer 33005 is this one. Now if you add all of this, the sum would be actually this number. Now, how it was able to do it? It was done by the large language model GPT 5.4. It did not make any function call. The model used its own capability to answer this. I'm asking how is the weather in Bangalore today, which has nothing to do with the function call, but it still gives us the output that I can't access live weather updates directly, etc, etc. So essentially it gives some answer. Let's ask a different question. I'm just asking who was the president of India from 2016 to 2022. Now the model should have the answer because it is before the knowledge cutoff, and it is providing me the answer. The presidents of India during this duration were this. First one was Dr. Pranab Mukherjee, and then Ravnath Kovind. Now let me ask another question which is related to the data, right? The finance data. Provide me customer details of 34310. So it is giving me the output. Now let's ask provide me account details for the same customer. So this is a different prompt. Let's see whether it works or not. So looks like it worked. The reason it worked because we had passed the output of the function to the large language model, and it has the output in its contextual history. So that's why the account ID, this customer 34310 has these many accounts, and it is telling you as such that here are the account details for customer 34310 with all the accounts and other stuff. So you see, this is how we can use the function calls output, and integrate the function calls output with the GenAI model. Not only that, we can ask other questions also to the model. We can ask the model to behave just like a large language model without using a function call. That is also possible. Now, once you are done, make sure to delete the PostgreSQL database from Azure. So this is the PostgreSQL database. Just click on delete and then you can delete it, or else you can stop it. So if you stop this Azure PostgreSQL server, it will not be charged. I would recommend you to stop the server because it will be used in future videos also and in future hands-on also.